Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do the end of year book tag because we love talking about books and we love a good tag. I'm doing this right at the end of the year, so we actually only have 2 months left. I'm fine. And that means only 2 months left of reading, and knowing my reading habits, that's going to be roughly about 8 books. I think I read a bit less than 1 a week, but with the time around Christmas and New Year and having lots more like downtime and chill time, more reading time basically. So we'll see. Let's dive in to the questions. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, the main one is Me and White Supremacy: How to Recognize Your Privilege, Combat Racism and Change the World. This has been described not as a book that you read, but a book that you do. Each chapter is about a different element of white supremacy. So it could be like white privilege, colorblindness, anti-blackness, like lots of different things. And it kind of gives you a rundown of like what that thing is, why it's really bad, different examples of it, and then there are like reflective journaling questions, and I have a separate notebook where I've been doing my journaling. It is meant to be like a 28-day thing, but obviously you don't have to do just like 1 chapter a day. You could do multiple, or you could like take however long you need basically. I am on day 15. What a topic. I'm like talking about how I haven't finished this book yet, and day 15 is You and White Apathy. So I've got lots to learn. So yeah, this one I'm definitely going to finish by the end of the year. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I don't really think this question applies to me anymore because I'm like, we're well into autumn now. I've missed the transition period. But what I did do, although not intentionally, but it does feel kind of autumnal. I ended the summer reading a lot of my favourite books from childhood, which, you know, feels light, feels summery, feels easy breezy. And then we get into autumn and just like cozy vibes, but like you've got time to kind of like settle into a book. So these are the ones that I've been reading in my transition, and they're just like adult fiction, a bit heavier, a bit more dense than the childhood books. So that feels a bit like an autumnal transition, even though none of these are like specifically about autumn or like set in autumn. I'm not sure when I'll get a chance to read this, but I was thinking like, oh, Halloween is kind of autumnal, even though I think this video is coming out after Halloween. But a really scary book to read would be Men Who Hate Women by Laura Bates. From incels to pickup artists, the truth about extreme misogyny and how it affects us all. So that's gonna be a fun read. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? I don't think so, but also I'm really bad at knowing when books are coming out. There have been a couple of books that have come out this year, but I am eagerly anticipating the paperbacks, which will be next year. One of those is Hank Green's A Beautifully Foolish Endeavour, but I'm really excited to read that sequel, but I am happy to wait for a paperback because I am a paperback gal. What are the 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? Great question. What are they? So I've already mentioned Men Who Hate Women. That is on the list. We'll see if my heart gets round to it. Another 3 books that are high up on my priority list are Sex Ed, A Guide for Adults by Ruby Rare. Look how gorgeous this is. Another one that has been on my shelf for ages. I actually had the hardback on my bookshelf, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wasn't reading it, because the hardback was just so massive. And then I was just in WH Smith the other day and I saw the paperback version and I just bought it because I was just like, do you know what? This is going to make me read it more than like a massive hefty hardback. And it is Invisible Women: Exposing Data Bias in a World Designed for Men. So really excited to read this one. I have heard brilliant things about it, brilliant, horrifying things about it. I still have it. It needs to go to a charity shop. Look how massive that is. It's the same content. The same exact thing is inside. And the 3rd book that I want to read is called Sourdough by Robin Sloan, and I have it on my Kindle. And the reason why I really want to read this one is because months ago, Anna James, she's been on my channel before. She is an author. She is a writer. She knows so much about books. Definitely follow her on Instagram if you want that book content. So several months ago, Anna tweeted saying, let me know the last 2 books you read that you really loved and I will give you a recommendation. And so I was like, I am in. I said to her An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green, and I can't remember what the other book I said was, but she recommended to me Sourdough. I'd never heard of it before, and the idea of getting a personal recommendation of a book that I've never heard of before, I'm like, cool, sounds good. But I think it's meant to be kind of like soft sci-fi, so like set in our universe with some sci-fi elements. And I'm very excited to read it, but it has literally just been sat in my Kindle since she recommended it. So I want to read it before the end of this year. Is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favourite of the year? So I tend to not pick one favourite book of the year. Like, that is not possible for me. I cannot do that. But maybe Sourdough, that could become like a really top favourite because of that personal recommendation. Maybe she nailed it. Maybe it's going to be a fave. I also want to read the second book in the Wayfarers series, A Closed Common Orbit, I think the second one is called. So that could be up there with A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. And then the other book is actually one that I've literally just finished, but I think I'm still digesting it. So it's like not fully decided like where it sits in all of the other books that I've read this year, but there's something quite ethereal about it that I'm just like, oh, I wasn't expecting to enjoy that in the way that I did, and that is The Tiger's Wife. It's just, I don't know. That's my review. Have you already started making reading plans for 2021? Yes. More so than I have ever done any year previously. And I think that's because I'm like taking more care and intention with my reading priorities, or at least trying to. But I'm also being realistic about what I am able to read in the time that I have. So there are just so many books on my TBR pile. I'm sure we can all relate to that. One thing that I really wish that the Story Graph did, but it is in beta, so I'm like, maybe this is something that could happen, is a way to prioritize your TBR list. Because at the moment, it's just like, this is every book I've ever added to my TBR. And usually I just do that as like a storage place, so I don't like forget the names of books. But what I would really love is a way to like prioritize them in terms of like top, mid, low priority in terms of like what I want to read, so I can filter my TBR pile in that way. But instead, I just have a separate note on my computer and on my phone that I've been using. And anytime a book gets added to my top priority, like I'm like, this one I really want to read, I have been adding it to this list. However, it has now gotten to the point where I've like reshuffled it, reprioritized, and I am basically full. I am maxed out for the end of the year. It is not going to be possible for me to add anything without taking some away from my current priority list, which may happen because priorities can be flexible. But what I've been doing instead is just putting it on a 2021 list. And that list is getting so long, and 2021 isn't even here. And there's obviously loads of new books that are going to be coming out in 2021 that I'm going to want to read. It's very stressful. But yes, I do have lots of reading plans for next year. Flexible reading plans. Let me find that note. So most of the ones on my priority list for next year I don't actually have yet, but 2 of them are Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire by Akala, and Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given. So these are ones that I just didn't have room for this year, but I definitely want to read. And then other ones are obviously A Beautifully Foolish Endeavour when it comes out in paperback, please. Lindsay Ellis's Axiom's End, Pleasure Activism, and Lex Crouch's debut novel, which comes out next year, Reputation. So that's just a little taster of some of my priorities for next year. The list is actually a bit longer than that, but you know, we're just working on it, we're honing it, we're like manipulating it currently. It's not set in stone. It's never set in stone. But yes, that is my end of year book tag. This is not a TBR pile. This is a bit of a mishmash of all sorts of different things. Thanks for watching. I would love to hear your answers to the questions in the comments. Let me know how you're planning to spend your reading time for the rest of this year. Do you have 2021 reading plans like me? Or are you just like, how? Why? I hope that you're doing well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.